Hi everyone, how are you doing? It's Dr. Kelly. It's good to see you again. I love that we're doing these talks every week. I get a lot of good feedback. So please be sure to give me some likes and to share the video as well. I love it and so much appreciate it when you can share the content that we talk about. Hey Penny, so glad that you're here. Thanks for joining me. Tonight we're going to talk about 5 steps, easy steps that I'm going to share with you to solve this heartburn problem that you might be having. So, heartburn, acid reflux, indigestion, even esophagitis, all are the same thing, right? And so if any of those words sound familiar to you, hi Tony, and you're suffering with one of those problems or the symptom of heartburn, I bet you I know something that you're doing for it. Antacids, right? They're so popular. Mylanta, Tums, Pepcid, Nexium, things like that. And what do they do for you when you have those symptoms? Acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, esophagitis. If we think about esophagitis, so big word, just means esophagus, right? That's what we swallow down from our mouth, goes down our esophagus, and then our food goes into our stomach. Hi, Jojo. So esophagitis, any word that ends in itis means what? Think of arthritis, itis. It's inflammation. Any word that ends in itis means it's inflammation. It's flared up. It's inflamed. No surprise when you are complaining of symptoms of heartburn, right? You're like, oh, it burns right here, or it's going up all the way into my throat, or I feel like I'm going to throw up, or I can't lay down because, oh, the burning sensation. Now, heartburn, it's not your heart. It's all in the esophagus. But let's think about this for a minute. What's the number one thing? Hi, Misty. Absolutely. Inflammation. She's already answering, the last question, and I was really going to ask it again in just another way. What the symptoms that someone feels are because of the inflammation. And it feels like it's on fire, right? Tums and Maalox, Rolaids, Mylanta, what do they do for the person who has those symptoms? Who can tell me what they do? Because the follow-up question to that is, do they solve the problem? So we have to think about what do Tums do? What does Maalox do? What does your Pepcid, your Omeprazole, your Zantac, your Nexium, what do they all do that then absolutely and usually, maybe not always 100%, but often you take it because it helps your symptom, right? So you get that burning sensation. Maybe you've eaten something and then you get that burning sensation. Maybe you get heartburn symptoms all the time. Maybe it's been so bad for so long that now you've been diagnosed with esophagitis, and even I've worked with people who have been diagnosed with Barrett's esophagus. Anybody know what that is? Just think of this along a progression, okay? A little bit of reflux, ooh, that hurts. Goes back where it's supposed to be, no damage done. We go down to esophagitis. There's been a lot of acid up the esophagus and it's actually starting to cause some damage. There's inflammation, it's red, it's hot. Barrett's esophagus means a person actually gets ulcers in that tube in the esophagus, and after Barrett's, guess what comes after that? Cancer. Barrett's esophagus is a huge risk factor for getting cancer in your esophagus. And so this is on a continuum that it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So let me go back to the question that I didn't see anyone answer. What does the antacid do do for you? The Tums, the Rolaids, the Pepcid, the Zantac. What does it do? It controls the acid. It suppresses the acid, right? So you all kind of know that. That's what all of those medications are directed at. But does that solve the problem? Does being on an antacid stop you from getting, it doesn't dilute it, Sarah. Good job though. Thank you for answering. It suppresses it. So it stops your body from making it, or it neutralizes it. So some of those different medications might work slightly differently, all to achieve the same purpose. Decrease the amount of acid. But does decreasing the acid, we know it helps with the symptoms, does it stop you from getting to esophagitis or Barrett's esophagus? Does it stop the disease process, that continuum? Does nothing for that. Nothing for that at all. Because guess what? Acid's not the cause. Acid's not the problem. Okay? You're supposed to be very, very acidic. If we think about acid and base, an acid is a lower number of pH. Yep, Jules, not good to suppress the acid. Tell me why. So if a normal pH or neutral is about 7, the lower you go, the more acidic. The higher you go, the more alkaline. Okay? So your stomach, so we eat food, right? We put it in our mouths. It goes down your esophagus. First place it hits is your stomach. It's actually right here under your left side of your rib cage. Really, it's actually pretty high. That's why when contents start going up the esophagus, it burns, and people called it heartburn because your heart's right there. But so in your stomach, there's supposed to be acid. Your stomach pH is supposed to be 1. 7 is neutral. Anything lower than 7 is more acidic. How acidic is your stomach? The most acidic spot in your whole body. And you need it. Your body was designed that way. Different areas throughout your GI tract are different levels of that pH. When it goes from the stomach to your small intestines, it goes to a 3. It went from 1 to 3, and then it's going to go up as it goes along. So you want acid in your stomach because there's bugs, like bacteria and parasites and yeast on your food that you're eating. You don't see it. You don't taste it. It's actually really super common. It doesn't mean that you got bad food. It's on our food all the time. So your stomach is built to kill it. Parasites can't survive that. The bacteria on your food can't survive a pH of 1. So acid is not the problem, okay? Let me take one step back. I told you I'm going to give you 5 easy steps to solve your heartburn. First step, I want you to understand that acid is not the problem, okay? That's what we've started to talk about. 2, you've got to poop daily. The bowels have got to move, okay? Because things go in the mouth, things come out the backside. And if it gets stuck or goes backwards anywhere in between, it causes you a problem. So you got to make sure you're going. It's just garbage. It's waste. Acid is not the problem. Understand that. The bowels have to move every day. Good bowel movements. Do not tell me, oh, I only go every couple of days. That's just me. That's my normal. That's not normal. That's not normal. 3, you need to remove the foods or infection that are causing the inflammation. 4, you need to restore the bacteria that's supposed to be there because it's gotten all out of balance from all of the antacids that you've taken. And then 5, we work on healing the tissues. So healing and repairing those tissues. When you do that, when you heal the tissue in your esophagus, you don't have heartburn anymore. It's gone. And guess what? Barrett's esophagus, I've worked with several people who've been diagnosed with that, and we reverse it. When you do the right things, Instead of just getting scoped every year and finding out how bad your esophagus is, do something to change it. And when you do, it starts to change. So those 5 things we're going to dive into a little bit more. I started with trying to explaining in the beginning what about the acid. Okay, so acid is not the problem. In fact, lots of times it's because you have too low of acid. Okay, so bear with me here. Okay, we're going to talk about number 1 and 2 as far as the steps. Acid is not the problem. The problem is acid gets in the wrong place. Okay, your esophagus was not meant to have acid in it. Your stomach is meant to have a lot of acid, and then once your stomach starts digesting your food, it goes to your small intestines. Your small intestines can handle that food, that liquid, when it comes into it. Okay, and it's going to change it, and you're digesting it, and you're modifying it, and you're absorbing it. You're doing all the things that your body was built to do when it goes into that small intestines. The problem comes when you've got low acid and your stomach contents try to go to the next stage of the game. Your stomach contents try to go into your small intestines, and your small intestine says, hey, take it back. I don't want it in here. There's no acid. What are you crazy? We need more acid. Take it back and try again. So the small intestine pushes it back. And also that acid is supposed to trigger your liver to eject your bile. Bile breaks down your food, okay? And it prepares it to go into the small intestines. So when the bile doesn't get injected like it's supposed to, and the small intestines doesn't want the contents from your stomach, it says, take it back, and it pushes it back in your stomach, and guess what? Now it starts coming up your esophagus. Okay, not supposed to be there. That tissue was not built to handle that, and guess what? It burns. Ooh, ouch, it goes through that valve and it hurts. It's not supposed to be there. So what we have to work on first is getting this direction to keep on moving forward. The small intestines to take it. For so many of you, you've got to poop better. The bowels have to move better. Someone I talked to last week just told me she has little rabbit poopers. Little tiny rabbit poopers. That's not normal. They're all dried. They're little pebbles, and that's not normal. We've got to get more water. We need magnesium citrate. Works wonderfully to help pull in water to the bowels and get it moving. Being more active, getting some exercise, helps to stimulate the bowels to get them moving. So you have to be eating foods with fiber, get enough water, start to walk or exercise, take some magnesium citrate like Natural Calm, get the bowels moving, because once the bowel's empty, the rest of the GI tract can keep flowing through. That GI tract is just one big long tube. Okay, so if it's backed up in one spot, it backs up in another spot, that backs up in another, and you've got stomach contents up your chest, in your esophagus, and it hurts. And then you feel like you need to take more antacids, which then continues the problem, and it's this nasty, vicious circle. Step number 3 is to remove the foods. So many of you probably know, oh, if I eat that, I'm going to get heartburn. If I have spicy food, I'm going to get heartburn. If I drink too much juice, I'm going to get heartburn. Okay? So if I drink coffee, I'm going to get heartburn. Whatever those foods are, stop eating them or stop drinking them. Alcohol. Oh, if I drink alcohol, I get heartburn. I know I'm going to have a terrible night because it's just going to keep going back up. So there are some foods that you know already, and it's in your control to change. So change it. It's in your control to change. So change it. Change those foods that you know are a problem, okay? But I also want you to get tested. Get tested for the food allergies. It is so worth it. I have a fabulous course for you. for the food testing course. You can find it on drkellyfelmer.com or adiscoveryhealthlifestyle.com. And whenever you listen to my videos, I'm happy to give you a discount on it, 15% off by using the coupon code FOODS15. And you'll get 15% off the coursework, 8 hours worth of education. I explain it all, what you need to know. I also give you some tips and some recommendations based on your symptoms. And you get tested for 184 foods that are causing inflammation in your gut. So step number 3 is resolving the inflammation. You have to get rid of the foods that cause inflammation. Some of the foods you know, the rest of the foods you had no idea. Gentleman who I was talking with on Monday, I think, or early last week, chronic belly problems, diarrhea. I don't know what to eat. Everything that I eat, it seems like everything is a problem. I'm scared to eat. The bowels are going crazy. I've had irritable bowel my whole life. All of that. We got him tested. The very next day, dramatic improvements. He stopped putting the foods in that were causing all of his inflammation. The same response happens when you have heartburn and reflux. It's a problem that you're putting in food that is bothering your body, okay? And you may not figure out that it was broccoli right away, or that it was applesauce, an apple. I eat apples. Eat an apple a day, keep the doctor away. It's supposed to be fabulous, but every time I eat an apple, hours later I have heartburn and I had no idea it was from the apple. So remove the foods that are causing a problem. Get out the foods that you know about right away, then get tested, go through my food course, and some of you also have infection in your gut. Okay, you might not have the right bacteria in your gut. You might have a candida overgrowth, or you might already have parasites. Okay, so lots of times we need to do a stool test to figure that piece out. And if that's a problem for you, that needs to get treated. Step number 4 then is to restore normal balance of bacteria. Bacteria are our friends. They outnumber us. Human cells to bacteria cells, way more bacteria make up your human body. Isn't that weird? It's like you don't even ever want to think about that, because that seems like, how could that ever be possible? But bacteria is in our gut and we need it. And we want to have enough of the good bacteria. We want to have a heavy growth of both gram-negative and gram-positive, because that keeps everybody else in check. That keeps candida or the yeast in check. You're supposed to have yeast in your gut, but not too much. It likes to take advantage when you don't have enough bacteria, okay? So we need to then balance the bacteria in your gut. And then lastly, we need to heal and repair the tissue. So first we understand that acid is not the problem. Actually, low acid is a bigger problem than high acid. So we need to correct that by stopping taking the antacids all the time. Now, I'm not telling all of you to stop your antacid today. I want you to start to think about it. I want to help you to get your body to change, and then you can start to wean off that antacid, because it's causing you a problem through the rest of your life. It's going to keep you in the world of hurt that you're in, and that progression of, it was just a couple episodes of heartburn that progressed to daily heartburn, progressed to I can't sleep because of my heartburn. Now they told me I have esophagitis, and then now I have ulcers, Barrett's esophagus. Then you're at a huge risk for getting cancer in your esophagus. But you can stop this. You don't have to go through this progression. So we've got to get you to a spot where the gut is healing and we can get you off your antacid. Understand it's not an acid problem. You've got to get the bowels moving daily so that the system is going in the right direction and it will stop from going in the wrong direction. The biggest problem with heartburn is that acid is going where it's not supposed to be. remove the foods that are causing the problem or infection, restore the bacteria, and then finally heal the tissues. Things like aloe vera juice are amazing to calm down the inflammation and give that tissue the opportunity to work from the inside out for healing and repair. Other herbs like chamomile is wonderful to help heal that GI tract in those tissues. And there are many other things that we can do to help those tissues heal and repair as well. So that's what I got for you in a nutshell. 20 minutes to the point, 5 easy steps to solve your heartburn. Acid is not the problem. Get the bowels moving. Remove the foods. Don't forget about the food course. You will never regret it. Balance the bacteria and then start to heal the tissue with certain agents. It works wonderfully. All right. So for any of you heartburn sufferers out there, indigestion, even if you've been told you have esophagitis, even when you've had a scope and they told you it's very inflamed, there's even ulcers, you have to stay on your antacids. You can correct the problem if you do these 5 things. So if you have any questions, now is your time to ask them before we get going for the night. I really want to thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes. Don't forget to share. And feel free to share my website as well, drkellyfelmer.com. And there's some really good things on there. You can get scheduled through there. There's tabs up at the top now that link to videos by category on the thyroid, on fatigue, on hormones, on, I forget what else, food, autoimmune disease. All those topics have a list of videos that you can see by going to drkellyfelmer.com. There's also a tab to go to the lifestyle site. That's where I have the courses. That's where the food course is. And I'll also put in a link to the food course so you can read more about that. Please share that information about the food course. I really appreciate that as well. And then I'm not seeing any other questions come through, so I guess you guys knew this all. This was old hat. If you hear of anyone complaining of heartburn, please share this video with them, okay? Tag somebody that you know is always complaining of belly problems. Tag them because we can correct them. They don't have to suffer with that problem anymore, okay? So thanks for being here. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you again soon.